back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be doing a little concoction, a little stew of inspiration. So let me just tell you about that real fast. So opening weekend of Avengers Infinity War, the internet lasted all of maybe 2 days before they started spewing spoilers everywhere. And if they weren't spewing direct spoilers, which thankfully at this point I had seen it the night before I started seeing real spoilers on the internet, they were giving you little innuendos of spoilers, like a little taste of a spoiler, so you wouldn't get it if there was no context. Like, for example, there's like a left-right sign, and if you saw the movie, you know what that means. A bubble gun, you know what that means. There's like little suggestions, and if you've seen the movie, you know what that means, and they're like really funny to look at. Anyways, because the internet is such a magical place, they decided to make a meme out of a tragic spot in the movie. So anyways, this is the meme. It is called the Dissipating Avengers meme, and I know some of you guys still haven't seen it because literally opening weekend, no seats were available. Every single one was taken, and thankfully my family got lucky and we were able to see like a 9 o'clock on Sunday, and it worked out, but it was crazy. It was difficult to get seats together because all of the theaters were just completely booked. Anyways, I decided to take some inspiration from the Dissipating Avengers meme and another scene in the movie that has more detail to that, because I wanted to paint that on myself. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you look at the meme and you know what's happening there and you transfer that to the movie and how it looks there, I wanted to do that on myself, but there's no pictures of that on the internet, thankfully. But it also sucks because I wanted to do that on myself. But if I'm able to come back and do that again in the future, I would love to, because that is just so much more intricate. It was so neat. The moment I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, I want to put this on my body. So anyways, taking those two thoughts, if you've seen the movie, you know what this thought is. If not, you know what the meme is. At least a lot of people have at least seen the memes, and I made a baby out of it and I put it on my face. This does only really work if you have like a black backdrop or something, just because, I mean, it's makeup, unless like you are able to get prosthetics involved in this, which, I mean, if it's flying particles, you really can't. So it's kind of difficult. The other difficult part about this makeup is that with illusion makeup, you definitely need to have the right lighting and camera settings and editing to really bring it to life. And unfortunately, I am a novice in all of these categories. I only have my ring light. I can try and adjust it so it looks like the black paint is blending into the background, but the other problem is it does catch the reflections. I do have highlights on my body because this is 3-dimensional, so it will catch the light in some areas, like right there, but then it won't catch them, and then there's a shadow, and unfortunately there's not much I can do to control that. Anyways, I know I'm pretty scatterbrained right now. I'm sorry. It's like my body, forgive me. But I was just so inspired by the Avengers movie, and I definitely wanted to do a little bit more, because I know I did my body paint, but I wanted to go a step further because I absolutely loved this idea and concept, and I did want to challenge myself. So if you guys want to see me create this Dissipating Avengers makeup look, just keep watching. Hey guys, so to start off, my face has kind of been killing me lately. It has been going insane. So in order to try and remedy this, we just want to just go ahead and start off by cleaning our face with some toner. This is going to help remove any excess oils or residue makeup left that, you know, you thought you cleaned, but it actually is there, like, hey, how you doing? Then we're going to be moving on to actually applying makeup. So I'm going to be taking my NYX Photo Loving Primer and just applying that all over my face to fill in my pores so that the other makeup doesn't fill in my pores for me. Where's the logic in that? I don't know, but hey, we do it anyway. Next, I'm going to be taking my ColourPop No Filter Concealer, and I'm going to be starting off with my number 20, and I'm just going to be applying this all over my blemishes before I go over it with my foundation. I personally like to do this whenever I feel like they are standing out a little bit more than normal, so we can kind of get a layering effect, and therefore we're getting more coverage on those tricky areas. And look at that, we already look so much better. Oh, my skin, it just looks way smoother than it did before. So now we're going to be moving on to the foundation, and I'm just going to be using my tried and true Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in medium sand and applying that all over my face, and then kind of contemplating if I want to do the other side of my face, and basically contemplating what the heck I want to do regarding this makeup look. Next, I'm going to be taking my ColourPop No Filter Concealer in number 14 and applying this to the areas that I would like to highlight. So this is under my eyes, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, under my cheekbones, my forehead, and temples. And I went ahead and let that set while I filled in my eyebrows. Then I'm just going to be going back in and blending all of this out with my ColourPop small fluffy brush before we go ahead and bake this. To bake it, I'm going to be taking my Airspun translucent powder, and I'm just going to be taking my dry Morphe sponge and just pressing this in and letting it sit while we move on to eyeshadow. I'm going to be starting off by priming my eyelids with my Smashbox 24-Hour Primer before we move on to taking our Morphe and Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, taking this champagne color and just applying this to the brow bone and making sure to blend as we go so that we don't have any obnoxiously harsh lines. Next, I'm going to be taking this light cream color and I'm just going to be applying that into the crease to serve as a transition shade before we move on to this darker nude color. I'm also going to be applying this to the outer, inner, and crease, and we're just going to be making sure to blend this out. If you couldn't tell we were doing a nude look, you should be able to tell by now because we're going to be going into another nude shade and basically darkening up the same areas as before going in with, once again, another darker color and even deepening it up and adding a little bit more pigment and color to this look. Taking my NYX Epic Ink liner, I'm going to be creating a nice bold cat eye on one eye, and then on the other, I'm just going to be creating a blocked half eyeliner look. It's not a wing. I didn't want to bring it out to a wing because I did want one side of my face to be drastically different, even though this is the side that is going to be dissipating, and yes, the wing would still partially be there. I kind of decided that I wanted to make it look like that is something that had already started to come up apart from my face, and I wanted there to be some contrast, and I felt that this looked pretty neat. Next, we're going to be brushing away our excess translucent powder so we can move on to contour. I'm going to be taking my Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette, taking medium and dark cocoa, and just chiseling out my features, really trying to give me that sharp jawline and, you know, the kind of cheekbones that could cut people, because if I want to be in the Avengers, I need some kind of power, and let's just make it my cheekbones while we're at it. Next, I'm going to be taking my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and just bronzing up my face before we go into our lower lash line. I'm going to be taking this new color from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette and just applying that to the lower lash line before I go in with some of this really pretty blue, and I'm just going to be applying that to the outer corner and softly bringing it in towards the inner corner of my eye. To brighten up my cheeks, I'm going to be taking my Tarte Amazonian Clay blush, and this is in Tipsy, and I'm just going to be applying this to the apples of my cheeks. Then I'm going to be taking the champagne color from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette and just applying that to the inner corner of my eye to brighten it up a bit. I'm going to set my face with my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist before going in with my Anastasia That Glow Glow Kit, taking Sunburst, and I'm just going to be applying that to my cheekbones and my nose, Cupid's bow, and temples, and you can even bring it down to your collarbones as well. Next, because I really didn't know what I was doing, I wanted to play it safe by taking my Mare on Paradise paint in white and just lightly outlining some of the triangles around my eyebrow before deciding that this might be a little bit too much of a risk for me, so I'm just going to be taking my Mare on Paradise paint in black, and I'm just going to be starting by my ear. I actually personally found that it was easier to work from the outside in, just because you don't have to commit so much to where you're going to be wanting the particles to start and then just end up getting scrunched up later. I know that doesn't really make sense, but for me personally, it was just easier to start by the ear, kind of get used to the random shapes I'm going to be making, figure out the kind of blocks that I'm going to be doing, how dark, and I don't know, I just personally liked it, and then I'm just going to be slowly working in. There isn't really a technique to this. Like I said, I am not an illusion makeup artist. This was the first time I ever tried anything like this, and so I personally just winged it. You basically want to have enough black spaces, and you want to make them as opaque as possible so that it can blend in to your black backdrop. You also want your skin to, look like skin. So you're going to want to be having some highlights and contours in that skin as well so that it looks more three-dimensional. I found that it was easiest to get an idea of how I want this to look to be constantly referring to the memes on the internet, just because if you look at them closely, they are literally just triangles that people have kind of copied and cut and started to move away from the character in the meme. And so I kind of just tried to mimic that because that was the easiest shape to do, is to just do triangles, and then I would incorporate a few squares or, random shapes just to kind of mix it up a little bit. This did take quite a long time just because I honestly had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but you do start to get the hang of it and move quicker the more that you do this. Next, I'm going to be taking my ColourPop No Filter concealers, and you definitely want to probably use the lighter color. So for me, this is number 14, and you're going to be creating the ridges in your face. So this isn't quite where the particles have already started to fade away from your face, but this is where they have started to lift. So you're going to be including a few shadows underneath with your black body paint as well, and you're just going to be creating this illusion as best as you can. You definitely want to take advantage of highlighting and contouring whenever possible, and you basically just continue this down your neck as well. There really isn't a good way to explain this. For me, it was just trial and error, and you're basically just drawing a bunch of triangles over your face and filling in the blank areas with black body paint. So because I know I'm rambling, I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet for a few minutes. You guys can watch the time lapse before I hop back in when we discuss the next few steps. Again. So here I'm going to be filling in the highlights on a few random blocks that are flying away from my face, and you're also going to be wanting to go into some brown eyeshadow, even some black if you'd like. I didn't want to use black because I didn't want to potentially muddy it up a little bit, so I just went into some brown eyeshadow, and you're just going to be applying this around some of the triangles. This is going to create a shadow, so it definitely looks like your skin is three-dimensional and floating away. For my lips, I'm going to be taking my Bite number 16 lip pencil and just outlining my lips before I take my ColourPop Luxe lipstick in Uno Mas and just filling in my lips. This happened to be a little bit too orange for my liking, so I then went in with my ColourPop Lippie Sticks in Aquarius and just put this on right over top of that. To prep my eyelashes, I'm going to curl them before I take my Tarte Tarteist Lash Paint Mascara and just start sweeping that through my eyelashes. For my false eyelashes, I'm just going to be taking my Ardell Wispies, making sure they're tacky, and just applying that to my lash line. Then you're going to be taking some of your liquid eyeliner and just going over that lash line just to help blend your false lashes to your natural lashes. And this is the completed Dissipating Avengers makeup look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see next. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more of my videos. And with all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!